In countries across the world, studies have documented the disproportionate impact of the pandemic on women and how their position remains far more vulnerable compared to men. Here's a few numbers to put things in context. According to a recent World Bank study, nearly 2.4 billion women globally don't have the same economic rights as men. 178 countries still maintain legal barriers that prevent the full economic participation of women. Nearly 40% economies have laws that constrain women's decision to join and remain in the labor force, and 95 countries do not guarantee equal pay for equal work. To this day, there are also 19 economies around the world where a husband can actually legally prevent his wife from working, and globally, women still only have 3/4 of the legal rights that are afforded to men. Now, the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap report says it will take 135.6 years to close the gender gap worldwide and 267.6 years to close the gap on economic participation and opportunity. Now, in the list of countries that provide the most gender equal opportunities, India ranks an abysmal 140 out of 156 countries covered. If we look at the job market in India, the year FY21 of the pandemic saw 10.5% fewer women employed compared to the year before, while the decline for men was almost half the number. This is problematic because while men make up more than 89% of the workforce, women are much lesser in numbers and they have lost more jobs in percentage terms, and their share in the workforce has also been coming down. That remains India's biggest challenge on the employment front, getting women in the labor force. While 67% of all men of working age are employed, only 9% women of working age have actually found employment, and this is productivity loss for the economy right here. Another dilemma is that although labor force participation rate for women is one of the lowest in the world at less than 11% compared to men, the unemployment rate for women is actually far higher. If you look at these charts, this is the unemployment rate for women versus men. This means that women find it harder to find work, and this is disconcerting because it suggests that there is some kind of bias against employment of women. Let's also look at women's role in boardrooms. Listed companies and other large public limited companies are required to appoint at least one woman on their boards under the Companies Act in India. And according to a recent Deloitte study, across 340 listed companies, there were only 413 women on boards, or only 17% of the board seats are held by women in India. When it comes to having a woman chairperson, that number is not even 4%, with under 5% companies having women CEOs and under 4% women CFOs. Gender parity at work and at home is not just the right thing to do. There are numerous studies that have shown it also makes economic sense, and therefore waiting 267 years to achieve economic parity is not something we can afford to do.